Municipality Local Review Team, Jamie Ramsey, Gaston County Fire Commission, Robin Chavis, Juvenile Crime Prevention. We're going to make a change tonight in the board. We will do citizens' comments next. Our next item is citizens' comments. A portion of the board's agenda is set aside for the purpose of allowing citizens the opportunity to offer comments and suggestions. This comment period is not intended or required for the commission or staff to answer any questions or provide a response. Questions requiring a response shall be answered as soon as possible through the county manager's office. Citizens' recognition tonight will be limited to 2 minutes. After I call your name, please step to the podium and state your name for an address for the citizens to speak up. Before we get to that, I wanted to make an announcement that we would have, since a lot of people are here, and this is the biggest problem that's come through what's happening tonight on the sign-up sheet. This board will not be taking up any added agenda items for the current Confederate monument unless 4 members have. This is because the Board of Appeals ruled on this back as a decision ruled on the matter back just previously for the reason why we will not be bringing it back up. The first person tonight to speak is Monique Elmore.
Motion to accept his information, Mr. Chair.
Seconded by Commissioner Hovis. All in favor? Please proceed now.
County Commissioners, County Manager, and all citizens of Gaston County assembled. Good evening. I am Monique Elmore, and I am a resident of Mount Holly. I'm here to address my experience with the Gaston County Department of Social Services foster care system. Being a foster parent is an arduous task. Some children come into our homes with developmental delays, behavioral problems, some even diagnosed with traumas many adults have no experience navigating. A huge undertaking, to say the least. As foster parents, we assume the role of parent, advocate, chauffeur. The titles are endless. Many of the foster parents I know took on this role to bring positive change to the children that come into our homes. Just as children deserve loving, supportive homes, foster parents deserve the same support from social workers and administrators. Sadly, that has not been my experience. I am deeply disappointed with what has occurred during my time as a foster parent within the Gaston County Department of Social Services. Throughout my time in the program, I have encountered repeated inconsistencies and expectations, a lack of timely and transparent communication, and what appears to be unequal treatment compared to other foster parents. In full transparency, I entered into this agreement naively. I was blinded by the thorough MAP training I received and the passion I saw behind Ms. Kanika Drakeford and the licensing department. Interacting with Ms. Drakeford and her licensing staff led me to believe that it was the culture within the agency that foster parents would be treated with respect, fairness, and accountability required from both sides. These ongoing issues have significantly impacted my ability to feel supported and informed in my role. As a result, my trust in the department has been undermined, leaving me concerned about the fairness, reliability, and overall effectiveness of the foster care system. It seems to be a common theme across the state of North Carolina and the country. In a September 26, 2025 article published in the Carolina Journal, the article cited 2 major reasons for fewer foster families. Number 1, foster parents found some DSS agencies difficult to work with due to frustration over worker turnover, ongoing delays in permanency, a lack of respite care to take breaks when fostering.
Ms. Elmore, if you could please wrap it up, please.
Children with challenging behaviors and dismissive or belittling treatment from county workers towards foster families. With over 10,000 children in the North Carolina foster system and only 6,000 licensed foster homes, the disparity in numbers doesn't require published news articles or media reports to figure out why many families have either discontinued providing services or altogether refused to foster.
Thank you, Ms. Elmore. Your time is up.
Thank you for your time.
The next person is, and we will not be clapping, please, any applause at all. Thank you. Tachia Prado, please.
Good evening, Chairman Brown, members of the board. My name is Dr. Tasha Prieto. I provided my address on the sign-in sheet.
Please, you have to give it tonight, ma'am. We'll start, we've been given, so many people have given fake, false addresses. They're supposed to tell you that when you checked in. Your address will be given tonight, please.
1136 North Alexander Street.
Thank you.
I was born in North Carolina, spent a large part of my childhood at grandma's in rural North Carolina, and I'm currently a property owner in this county. My family tree in North Carolina goes back to the 1700s, and yes, more than a few members of my family fought in the Civil War. As a daughter of North Carolina, I think it's important to remember our roots. In 1861, before any shots were fired, the newly elected Vice President of the Confederacy outlined all the ways in which their vision for a democratic republic outdid those of the founding fathers of America. His speech is a fascinating read. In talking about what he called changes for the better, he left for last the issue of slavery, calling the American ideal of equality for all as being fundamentally wrong. As he said, these are his words, not mine, quote, "This was an error. It was a sandy foundation. Our new government is founded upon exactly the opposite idea. Its foundations are laid, its cornerstone rests upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery's subordination to the superior race is his natural and normal condition. This, our new government, is the first in the history of the world based upon this great physical, philosophical, and moral truth." Again, his words, not mine. From this quote, we can see that the Civil War was never about states' rights. It was fundamentally about the enslavement of human beings. I wasn't there in 1912 when a group of white people thought it would be a great idea to put up a statue honoring the men who fought to continue the peculiar institution of slavery. But given that history tells us the second iteration of the KKK was formally begun in 1915, I think we can infer what they were really saying by putting up a racist statue on front of what should otherwise be a building of blind justice for all people. Tonight, you recognize the national reaccreditation of the Gaston County History Museum. As a constituent of the county, I respectfully suggest that the proper place for a statue extolling an antiquated racist ideal is in that museum, where proper context can be provided. Only by moving the statue to a place where persons of color do not have to wonder about the message the county commissioners are sending can we truly signal that we support the fundamental American ideal of equality for all and that we are not
Well,
racist.
Mr. Prado, if you could please wrap it up.
Thank you for your consideration.
The next person to speak is Ray Cloud.
Good evening, County Commissioners, Chairman Brown. My name is Ray Cloyd, and I am a resident of Gaston County, 2616 Jacobs Road, Gastonia. I'm a teacher for Gaston County Schools, and I'm here to share some data regarding local teacher supplements. According to the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, Gaston County's average annual teacher supplement for the current school year is $2,900 less than Cleveland County, $2,200 less than Lincoln County, and $6,300 less than Charlotte-Mecklenburg. These numbers come directly from NCDPI, specifically North Carolina Public Schools Statistical Profile Table 20. This is proof that our neighboring counties in North Carolina, both larger and smaller, appreciate their public schools more than Gaston County. And South Carolina neighboring District Clover currently pays their teachers $11,000 more per year. Also, according to NCDPI, other North Carolina districts of similar size also value teachers more than Gaston County. There are 5 districts of between 25 and 35,000 students, including Gaston County. All pay a higher supplement. Cabarrus County, $3,300 more. Durham County, $4,600 more. New Hanover County, $5,300 more. And Onslow County, $3,500 more. Please invest in Gaston County schools and approve additional funding for our teachers. The latest budget proposal that I have seen requests an increase of $3.6 million for Gaston County teacher supplements to be competitive with district peers. As a product of Shelby City Schools, I remember every classroom having air conditioning in the 1970s. I remember using the indoor pool during PE classes in high school, and I remember graduating from the state-of-the-art Malcolm Brown Auditorium. Those were investments in public education. Another example of investing in public schools is South Carolina. They have invested heavily in teacher pay over the past decade, including a probable $2,000 pay increase for the coming year. Please invest in Gaston County schools and specifically teacher pay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person will be Robin Ramsey.
Chairman Brown, County Commissioners, citizens. Thank you very much for allowing everybody this opportunity, as it should be. 1861, yes, North Carolina seceded. North Carolina did not secede for slavery. To quote our governor, Lincoln shall get no boys from North Carolina. These men grew up here. They looked at the Union as invading. They had no desire to fight for someone's property. I have over 30 Confederate ancestors. Many didn't come home. That monument out there is their headstone, their grave marker. And if I were to do your genealogy, I guarantee you have the same blood that flows through our veins would flow through yours as Confederate descendants. The revolutionary daughters that you honor today, these are their grandsons. They fought for the exact same thing, the right to govern their own country in a way that they wanted to deal with their own finances the way they wanted to. We were the government's cash cow. That monument is a headstone. It is a memorial to us and for those who think like us. There were multiple black Confederates. Peter Love, he received a Confederate pension. He was a black man, Gaston County. There are many others, but Mr. Love was one of the ones that I do recall. Look at your history. If you want to look at history, read all of it, not part of it. You can't just pick and choose, just like the Bible, folks. All for one, one for all. Know your history and never forget it. Thank you.
Next person is R.L. Forbes.
Good evening, Board. My name's Al Forbes. I live at 1908 Wood Green Drive in Gastonia. Lived in Gaston County my entire life. My great-great-grandfather was Jacob Stowe. He was from Belmont. He carried this Bible on the battlefield with him in the Civil War. And inside the front cover of it is written, "If I should die on the battlefield tonight, tell my family and friends I died in defense of my country." And that's exactly what he was doing. He was defending his homeland. And I would like to think that each and every one of you would do the same if your homeland were being invaded, whether it be communist, KKK, Martian zombies, or whatever. I would think that you would do whatever is necessary to defend your homeland. And he was not a rich man. He didn't own slaves, so he was not fighting for slavery. But he was doing what he thought was right. And that monument and this Bible are all I have to remember him by. So I ask you to not even consider removing that monument, because it means so much to me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. The next person is Bill Starnes. Motion to accept.
Motion to accept, Mr. Chair.
Seconded by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor? It's unanimous, Madam Clerk.
My name is Bill Stearns. I live in Mount Hollow, North Carolina, 5205 Clearwater Lake Road. I'd like to thank our commissioners and all of our county people here. I know some of y'all have businesses and jobs and stuff you have to work besides doing this. I appreciate the sacrifice y'all give to the county and the citizens of this county, so thank you very much for doing that. Now, we're hearing this talk about the Civil War being about slavery. First of all, it wasn't a civil war because we were not trying to overthrow any government. That is the definition of the Civil War, two factions fighting to control one government. We simply wanted to use our Confederate rights to govern ourselves as is in the Constitution. When certain states, New York, Virginia, and Rhode Island, when they ratified the Constitution to join the Union, they also included in their documents the right to secede from the Union if it didn't work out the way they felt like it should. So, and if you read our Constitution, you read Article 4, Section 2, it clearly states all states shall have the same immunities and all this kind of stuff as on any other state. So if 3 states had that right to succeed, 13 states at that time had that right to succeed. So, you know, you need to look at history. You need to understand what you're talking about before you start slinging around hate speech. Personally, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. The living God I serve created one race, and that's the human race. And if you are a son or daughter of God, you are my brother or sister. If you are a son of God, you, like me, are a brother of Jesus Christ. So to me, hate has got no business being involved in conversations. What needs to be involved is information and knowledge and research. Now, there was such a thing called the black codes in a lot of states. Those states were Connecticut, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, New York.
Mr. Starnes, if you just wrap it up, please.
Big sergeant?
You wrap it up, please.
Yes, sir. All of the states that had black codes, including Oregon, just briefly, sir, if I might, and I'm done. This is in the Oregon Constitution when it was first written. And if a minority of all the votes given for and against the free Negroes shall be given against free Negroes, then the following sections shall be added to the Bill of Rights and shall be part of this Constitution. No free Negro or mulatto not residing in this state at the time of the...
If you could just wrap it up and we've already accepted your paper you're given. If you'll just give that to the clerk.
Okay, I'll do that.
The next person to speak is Billy Starnes.
My name's Billy Starnes. I live in Belmont, North Carolina, 113 Hillcrest Drive, born and raised in Gaston County. That monument out there stands as a memory for the fallen soldiers who did not return home and for those who did, but did fight for their homeland. Had many ancestors that fought during the war. Some were killed during the war. Some were never found, and some did make it home. But I'm a proud member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, Sons of American Revolution, and if we can honor some of our veterans, I think we should honor all of them. That war was not fought over slavery alone. The North had slaves, the South had slaves. It was not just a Southern thing that was that caused this war over slavery. I do want to read you, this is a quote from Abraham Lincoln in September of 1858, 2.5 years prior to the start of the war. And this is on this is Abraham Lincoln speaking on his opinion between the white and black races. He says, "I will say then that I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the black and white races. That I am not, nor ever have I been, in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office
nor to intermarry with white people. And I will say in addition to this, that there is a physical difference between the black and white races, which I believe will forever bid the two races from living together on terms of social and political equality. Inasmuch as they cannot so live, while they do remain together, there must be a position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having a superior position assigned to the white race. That's Abraham Lincoln. And if that man right there is the biggest hero that a lot of people think he is, he's not, because he was one of the biggest racist people in the government. So I ask you to please leave that monument where it's at. The state law says that monument can stay right there. The Court of Appeals just said that monument belongs right there. It cannot be taken down. So I just ask you to please uphold the law and leave the monument where it stands.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Charles Roseberry.
Have one of these for each of the commissioners.
Motion to accept. Motion to accept. Mr. Sheehan, second. All in favor? It is unanimous, Madam Clerk.
Hi, commissioners, public, good to see everybody. My name's Charles Roseberry. I live at 419 South of Ridge Street in Dallas. I'm a son of Gaston County. I've been here since my grandparents came over from Georgia and started our house in Ranlow a couple years after Ranlow was established. Came today to talk about the monument because I had heard that some people are trying to come and talk about the monument again, but I'll try to make this brief. I'm a lifelong resident of Gastonia, except for the time that I was in the Marine Corps. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I got out, went back in and served in the Gulf War. I'm a descendant of several Revolutionary War veterans, War of 1812, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, and I have other members that have served throughout my family. As you all may know, when the appeals court looked at the standing of the Soldiers Monument outside of the courthouse, standing means that you have to show that you were injured in some way, shape, or form by the monument's presence. The fact of the matter is the appeals court said in North Carolina that just because you're feeling like you're hurt by something or damaged by something doesn't show that you are actually caused damage. North Carolina in the 1970s accepted part of their constitution to treat people equally in the court system, and it was adopted in the Constitution in 1971 for non-discrimination. So when you come to North Carolina, you go to Gaston County Courthouse, you're treated the same no matter who you are, what you look like, because you have a trial or a case before the court. The appeals court justly stated that if you feel a certain way outside the courthouse, doesn't mean that when you go inside the courthouse that you should not have a fair trial. But you cannot have court in the public to decide your case. It should be done in a public forum in front of a judge that's fair to you. And no one so far has shown anyone in Gaston County that the Gaston County Court has not been fair to our citizens, no matter where you are from. In conclusion, because I see my time is very limited, please continue to follow state law. The appeals court has made this decision clear. The monument is a monument of a memorial that can't be moved, it can't be replaced, it can't be taken down, and it can be done temporarily, but it has to be put back in a prominent position. It's a solemn piece of art that reminds us of the 1,500 men that came from our county, many of who died in battle with no indication to their family of whatever happened to them, and I wouldn't want that for anyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Roseberry. The next person is Sean Bates.
Good evening. I am Sean Bates, President of the Gastonia NAACP, Branch 5394B. The mission of the Gastonia
Please
NAACP.
just state your address for the record.
You actually have it up there. And you
Do
didn't
that?
make the First
Well,
Lady, so, yeah, hey, you didn't make the First
I
Lady.
made everybody.
You
'cause
did not
okay,
make the First Lady.
Okay, Sean, I'm not going to argue with you. You're going to take your time up and you can sit down. I'm not going to argue with you. I asked you to put it down because everybody kept coming in, putting something different.
201 2nd Street.
Thank you.
Now, I do want to point out, though, you did not ask the First Lady. You didn't write it down. Our mission is the political, educational, and civil rights of all persons, not just black people. We do specifically look out for us, but not just us. We have asked over and over that this symbolizes a hatred. Now, certain people up here did reach out and make sure that you had plenty of people talking about this other side. That's good. That's perfectly fine. It is a shame that we have to have this conversation. We're not saying that there's something wrong with having this monument. We're saying it doesn't belong here. There's museums. Feel free to put it there. We aren't even mad at you for standing up for it. We want you to stand up for what you believe in, but we want the same equal rights that everybody deserves. And right now, we're not being shown that. Right now, we are being shown that we are less than because you insist on not listening to what the people say. You have chosen to be political representatives by choice. Nobody made you choose this job. You chose this to represent all people of this county. So you have to include all people when you make these decisions. Yes, the appeals court said you do not have to move it. This is up to you. So we do want you to think about this. We want you to think about all the citizens in this county and realize that we all deserve to be seen, heard, and treated equal. Thank you.
Ms. Deanna Graham.
(201) West Franklin Boulevard. Before I begin, I must ask the same question I've asked at the last 2 county commissioner meetings, and I'll keep asking until someone dares to answer. If justice is truly blind, why does a symbol of the Confederacy stand at the entrance of our courthouse? Good evening. My name is Deanna Graham, Vice President of the NAACP, Gastonia Branch 5394B. Commissioner Chad Brown, you said Gaston County is very happy today, and that was concerning the court ruling of the Confederate statue. But I need to correct the record tonight. Everybody not happy. Everybody is not comfortable, and not everyone feels welcome walking into this courthouse, because symbols speak, and the symbol standing at the door of justice tells a story, whether the body believes it or not. This courthouse sits where the historic Highland community once thrived, a place of black business, black families, black excellence, Gastonia's own Black Wall Street. And today we live with a painful contradiction, a part of a black community erased from the landscape while a Confederate monument remains protected in stone. This is not neutrality, this is a choice. And when you say that the monument simply commemorates history, let's talk about the history that the Confederacy itself declared. In 1861, Confederate Vice President Alexander H. Stephens stood before the world during his cornerstone address and said that the Confederacy was founded on the belief that black people were not equal to white people and that slavery was their natural condition. Those was his words, not mine. Remove the barrier. Honor the people, and let justice finally stand alone. Thank you.
Mr. Bruce Cloninger.
My name is Bruce Cloninger. I'm a resident of Cherville, North Carolina, as Sheriff Hawkins can attest. You want my physical address?
Yes.
1311 Donnell Drive, Cherville, North Carolina.
Thank you.
All right. I do a lot of genealogy. I do a lot of local history. I'm well known for that. That monument, when it was made in 1912, was to remember the men who fought from Gaston County. There were over 1,400 men. I actually have their names and everything right here with me. And any veteran, I don't care whether they were Northern veterans, Southern veterans of any war, veterans deserve to be remembered. We've got veterans halfway around the world right now that we don't know what's going to happen. We could be sitting on the doorstep of World War III if things go bad. but veterans are not to be forgotten. And it's not a question. Gaston County, when they went to war in 1862, they did conscription. You didn't get a choice. Like the Vietnam War, they didn't get a choice. They had to go. Just like now, people don't have a choice. They got to let go. And history is important. That's all that's been talked about tonight is history. Just like the young man that did the thing with the old Lorray Mill. That's history. It's Gaston County history. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it. You can't escape it. And if you look at all the pioneer families in this county, like I said, my family's been here since before the American Revolution. Those families are intertwined. The surnames are still here. Their descendants are still here. But history is important. And not trying to step on anybody's history. History is important. That's part of what makes America great, is history. Thank you.
Mr. Chuck Clements.
Yes, I'm Chuck Clements, Charles Michael Clements, 2413 Malott Lane here at Gastonia. I would just like to say I mentioned Michael because I have a great-great-grandfather that is my namesake. He's from Bessemer City, named Michael Kaiser. My mother was a Kaiser. He went off to defend his home and his state. He was wounded in the war between the states, nursed back to health by some nuns, joined his unit, and at the end of the war was still alive. Had it not been for that, because a lot of people didn't come back, I wouldn't be here. A lot of the people are not as lucky as I am to have an ancestor, and he lived into his 70s, was a very important citizen. Even in Concord United Methodist Church, there's a stained window with his name on it in Bessemer City. So he was a good citizen to North Carolina. But as I said, a lot of families were not that fortunate to have their loved ones come back. So over about a 50-year period, they collected their nickels and pennies and the ladies and everybody, and they built this memorial that stands out front and dedicated in 1912 as a place to come to remember and to honor these folks that gave the ultimate sacrifice. And that's why I speak in favor of it. I think that's important. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Clearty Scott Lee.
My name is Clarence Scott Lee, 814B Woodlawn Avenue, or Woodlawn Street, Belmont, North Carolina, 288012. I am Chaplain CJ, also a corporal of the Sons of Confederate Veterans Mechanized Cavalry. I'm also a veteran as well. Served under the 101st, honorably discharged, 100% disabled veteran. I have my fifth great-grandfather who fought in the Confederacy. I have other family members who have also served this country one way or the other, whether it be the Confederacy, the Union, or in the great state or the great nation of the United States. I ask that you leave that monument there. Tearing that monument down and moving that monument somewhere else would be no different than going to the Arlington National Cemetery and moving one of those monuments. It is a disgrace to this country if you move that monument. I please and beg that you leave that there in honor of all of our ancestors, black, white, Hispanic, no matter what. Thank you.
Mr. Greg Ham. Thank you.
I believe that concludes public comment tonight. We'll move on to our item 3 on our agenda, which is presentations. The first presentation is from the Dallas Rescue Squad. Update, Chief Hull Withers. You would, Chief? Thank you.